What would happen if every gem that survived the events of Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future chose to throw a huge dance party and fuse with each other?
If you really want to understand fusion, I can help you.
What do you mean?
Let's fuse.
Oh, my stars!
Well, I've been completely obsessed with this scenario for a little over 2 months now, and that's because I'm fully convinced that the answer to this question in particular is actually the key to helping us solve not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 of the biggest unsolved mysteries on the entire show.
Is this the end? I guess so. Oh wait, there's a bunch more.
Being the reason for why it was possible for there to be fusions with the ability to just straight up break the 4th wall by learning that the entire universe was fake and they were just a bunch of characters in a cartoon show made for our entertainment.
And welcome back! Don't those cartoon characters make you want to buy those products? I sure hope so, or else I'd be off air.
What do you mean by that?
The true significance behind the fact that our girl Amethyst would unexplainably emerge over 500 years after the events of a gem war.
Wait. Let me guess. This is the hole you came out of.
But wait! There's more!
Too small, too low. The exit marks look about 500 years newer than every other hole.
The real reason behind why Homeworld was so ruthless when it came to punishing the disobedient gems who would decide to practice cross-gem fusion during Era 1 and Era 2, just like our favorite power couple Garnet.
Forgive me,
You will be broken for this!
God damn, girl.
And most importantly, the location of all of the single gem versions of our favorite cross-gem fusions that were supposedly living on Homeworld.
You what?
Yeah, interestingly enough, Rebecca Sugar and the Croniverse would confirm that single gem versions of cross-gem fusions like Alexandrite, Malachite, and yes, even Obsidian existed within this universe. And this idea was also revealed to us on the show by Blue Diamond when she was talking down to Garnet during the season 5 episode titled Together Alone.
Whoa! Are you talking about Garnet?
Garnet? Does that call herself a Garnet?
This is low even for you!
As well as in the Steven Universe Light Game Trilogy with the introduction of a single gem Garnet named Hessonite.
The Earl. Did you miss me?
Who are you people?
Hey, I'm not sure about you, but if I was Yellow Diamond, a gem who was said to have been in charge of all of the armies of Homeworld by the certified kindergartner herself, Peridot.
Oh, honestly, you call everyone a clod. Yes, but not everyone has command over all the armies of Homeworld waiting for the word to shatter me!
And I was just told that one of the most perfect and loyal quad soldiers that has literally ever lived went missing on the Earth, an old planet that I had a deep and personal hatred for.
I want my cluster, and I want that planet to die.
Then I definitely would not be choosing to assign a single Roman ice spaceship that was piloted by 5 measly little Ruby soldiers to retrieve her.
Ruby?
What a sick joke!
Especially if I was also in command of squadrons of Opal, Sardonyxes, and freaking Sugilites.
He's out of line, but he's right.
We should also probably keep in mind that Hessonite was basically identical in height to Ruby and Sapphire's version of Garnet as well, so come to think of it, why didn't we see any single gem versions of fusions like Malachites towering over the crowd when Steven and the rest of the Crystal Gems would land on Homeworld for the first time during the season 5 episode titled Legs from Here to Homeworld? I mean, we've had 2 shows, a movie, and at least 3 canonical games, so it should be safe for us to come to the conclusion that we've most likely been exposed to a large chunk of Homeworld's most sacred and important societal procedures, while also being introduced to the vast majority of their most pivotal gems.
This is ridiculous. 4,000 years of loyal service to the court, and this is what I get?
Putting this presumed knowledge to the test, we know that sapphires were initially made to help their respective diamonds create sustainable plants by being able to predict the future for them.
My diamond. I've arrived.
We also know that gems like lapis lazuli were initially made with the raw power needed to be able to terraform planets on behalf of a Homeworld empire.
And no more terraforming. You'll leave this planet alone? After that ridiculous show of strength?
We'll do anything you say.
And yet, despite us having all of his content based on the Steven universe, for some currently unexplained reason, Rebecca Sugar and the Croniverse would make it a point to never introduce us to even one single gem version of one of the more powerful cross-gem fusions, almost as if they were all...
You are talking about things that you do not understand.
Garnet, stop! Please! It's not worth it.
But I'm getting ahead of myself.
What's this one's future?
I don't know.
Look, Future Vision and I have always had a pretty toxic relationship, and Steven's connection to Blue Diamond would alert the crystal gems about the arrival of the diamonds during Reunited light years before Garnet would even realize what was happening. But based on Sapphire's explanation during the season 5 episode titled Reunited on how the ability is supposed to work,
my future used to look like one single, obvious stream, unbending till the end of time.
But wait! There's more!
In an instant, you pulled me from that destiny and opened my eye to an explosion of infinite possible futures.
It's confirmed that while Sapphire is only capable of accessing a single version of the future where she doesn't directly get involved or interfere, Garnet on the other hand, being a fusion of an impulsive Ruby and a moderately passive Sapphire, is able to access multiple different timelines, which eventually led her to becoming extremely overwhelmed with this form of the ability as time went on and her day-to-day life as a rebel became even more unpredictable.
That's true, but maybe instead of thinking of all the things that could happen, let's just pick the thing we want to happen and do that.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
Anyway, because of Garnet's incredibly unique version of Future Vision, some of her fusions like Sardonyx and Sunstone were able to gain the fascinating ability to see their world for what it truly was and even break the fourth wall.
But remember, kids, if you ever have to deal with a bully, be sure to tell an adult.
But curiously enough, this special enlightenment hasn't ever been showcased by Garnet's other three fusions, being Sugarlight, Alexandrite, and Obsidian. Now, by process of elimination alone, I think that it should be safe for us to come to the conclusion that a higher level of enlightenment wasn't ever gained by any of these fusions in particular, because of the fact that our girl Amethyst, being the one common denominator, was involved in their formation.
Last time was a disaster. Last time we fused, Sugarlight went berserk. And it's because of her that we can't even warp here anymore.
And I'm not necessarily trying to imply that Sugarlight, Alexandrite, and Obsidian didn't inherit the ability to break the fourth wall because of Amethyst's status as a defective gem or anything like that. Actually, based on my findings, I'm now convinced that it was because of an entirely different reason. Peridot would claim that even though our girl Amethyst was a defective gem, she was still somehow just as strong as a regular-sized quad soldier.
You outrank everyone on your team. They should be listening to you. You're a strong, singular, fully functional soldier, despite the fact that you're defective.
No! No! You were mine!
This, along with the fact that both Peridot and Bismuth, being as experienced as they are when it came to gem history, were both stunned by the capabilities of Amethyst's whip.
Oh, this whole thing?
Oh, wow.
What is it?
Well, not every quartz can make a whip like this.
See? Look at that! You can do everything a normal quartz can do!
And I'm thinking that there's a really good chance that if Amethyst did actually emerge when she was supposed to, then she would have burst out of the ground as a quad soldier that was filled to the brim with even more potential than Jasper herself.
No matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, she came out right and I came out wrong.
Honestly, just going off on the fact that Holy Blue Agate summoned weapon was also a whip, then it's very possible that our girl Amethyst was meant to have been the commander of a prime kindergarten or something, which would actually explain why Peridot's assessment of her was so contradictory at times.
What's going on here? Our orders were to move out as soon as you emerged.
But 8XM hasn't emerged yet.
In short, Amethyst being a gem that was secretly harboring so much raw quartz power and being one of the most essential components in the formation of fusions like Sugarlight, Alexandrite, and Obsidian would cancel out their ability to transcend their own reality and break the fourth wall that should have been given to them by Garnet's presence. But that just raises the question, are inherited abilities like being able to transcend reality believe the actual reason for why the diamonds would believe that it was necessary for them to ban the act of cross-gem fusion altogether during the first 2 eras? I mean, we were kind of led to believe that the reason for why cross-gem fusion was outlawed was because of the idea that if the practice ever became widespread, then it would have sparked a ton of chaos within homeworld society. And we all know how much the diamonds value their order.
And me!
But seriously, when you actually take a step back and think about it, then the idea that blue, yellow, and white diamond were all afraid of transcended gems because of their very nature would definitely help us understand why there weren't any single gem versions of these transcended cross-gem fusions walking around on Homeworld. Assuming that a single gem version of Sardonyx and Sunstone actually emerged with the power to break the 4th wall, of course, because to be fully transparent, Hessonite hasn't explicitly been shown to have had future vision herself, but we just don't know for sure at the moment. But based on the fact that all sapphires were shown to have had future vision in some capacity, and all lapis lazulis were shown to have been able to manipulate water, I think that it shouldn't be that wild for us to assume that all of the other Sardonyxes and Sunstones out there in the universe, wherever they are, were most likely also capable of doing everything that we've seen being achieved by their multi-gem counterparts.
Hey kids, don't let this happen to you.
Now, if I'm right and Homeworld actually did go out of their way to ban cross-gem fusion because they were afraid of the gems that the practice would create, then I'm thinking that we haven't seen single gem fusions like Sugilite, Alexandrite, Sardonyx, and Sunstone walking around on the planet because none of them are alive anymore. Alright, so Jasper, easily being one of the most vocal advocates of the Homeworld Empire, confirmed during the season 3 episode titled Earthlings that any gem that didn't fit neatly inside of the Order of the Diamonds got an all-expenses paid trip to the afterlife. And again, it shouldn't be that wild for us to understand why a gem that managed to emerge with the ability to just straight up see past their own reality would fall into that bracket.
It's Sardonyx. If she's not here, the room can't exist.
So to answer the final question that I raised at the very beginning of this video, if you were to ask me what I believe would happen if every gem that was left standing in the universe chose to fuse, then I'd honestly just remind you to consider everything that we'd learn about the cluster over the course of a show. Yeah, I mean, the cluster was a massive artificial fusion that was insanely made up of millions of gem shards, which were in turn harvested from hundreds of thousands of gems. And yet, despite this fact, our boy Steven would still manage to get all of these beyond traumatized gems to agree on working together towards one common goal on at least 2 separate occasions. This confirms something that I think that we've always had in the back of our minds all along, which was the idea of fusion with as many gems as possible being a realistic option as long as all of the fusion's components are able to focus on a strong enough task. Now, in my humble opinion, a gem with the power to control every single one of the elements, see into the past as well as the future, and learn that the entire world was set within a fictional universe should be described as being nothing short of a god.